Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together to talk about book marketing, publishing, writing, pretty much anything having to do with the publishing industry in the writing world. And we answer questions live. You can either join us by going to newshelves.com/FAF, or you can email in your questions if you can't make it at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fridays. The email for that is questions with an S at freeadvicefridays.com. And with that, we're going to jump right into today's live questions. Let's see. Sonia's asking, I hear librarians like indexes in nonfiction books. Do you have any recommendation for indexing programs? I have to say that I hate indexing, not like having it in a book, but I hate trying to do it. Tara is saying text tract, which is great. That's TEXTRACT. So text tract sounds like a good one. I personally, all of my formatting, I have a formatter do, as well as indexing. I have my formatter do that because God love them, they're amazing at it, and I am not. So text tract sounds good. I know there are some programs that kind of help you with indexing as well. That's right. Terry says indexing is its own skill. That is correct. The formatters I work with, it's a team, so they get it covered. And as I said, I do not. So I do think it's something you have to take a lot of time with. You have to make sure that you're really following through and being careful with it. And there are some programs, some of the basic, I mean, I don't want to say basic, but some of the programs that you can get to actually format your book, some of the things that like, sorry, I'm blanking out, you guys. It's been a long week. Some of the like formatting tools that you can use have index options. They don't tend to be fantastic, but they are an option. Terry says she can talk about indexing sometime, so maybe we'll set that up. Beach brain, I do. I loved it. I was at the beach and it was hot. My whole family, we got a picture of us at the beach. And it's funny because I was looking at the last one and I was pregnant with my son, who's now 7. So yes, there's a whole group of professional indexers. Like they are their own crew in awesomeness. So that is great. Can you recommend free or not so expensive places to get reviews for children picture books? Yes. So, idea for you, whatever area you are in, chances are that area has a Facebook group for moms. Highly, highly recommend that if you have a children's book, you go join or ask to post in this moms group saying you have a children's picture book that you would like to give away for free or give away a PDF in exchange for people to consider leaving reviews. I've had a lot of success there because these are just moms, parents, grandparents. These are not people inundated with book review requests all the time, so they're a little more excited about getting the chance to review a book. So that's a great opportunity. Also, look to other children's books authors. You cannot swap reviews. You cannot say, I'll review your book for 5 stars if you review mine for 5 stars. That's totally not allowed. But you can ask other people to review your book. You can ask other authors and illustrators and that kind of thing. So there are definitely options out there for that. Doing a children's book blog tour is a great way to get reviews, but that can get pricey. I love the children's book review. They are great over there. They are not cheap. I think their prices run between $400 and $1,000. So they're not cheap, but I will say they deliver everything they promise. So I really like them over there. So it depends on, do you have time or do you have money? Because one of those things is generally required when you're marketing a book. And I think that for book reviews especially, it's either going to take a lot of time or you're going to tap into something like a blog tour to get those reviews. Of course, you can try the standard net NetGalley. You can do different things like that, and that can work as well. But if it's an older book, like I said, I'd start with the moms groups. I think that is a great opportunity that not many people are really tapping into. And yes, Nancy, if you would share that index or resource with us, either share it in the chat or if you email it to me so I can share it in our group, we would greatly appreciate that. Any resources are always appreciated. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. I read that everyone should have a speaker's reel on their website. What is a speaker's reel, and is it really important? A speaker's reel is a short video sampling of you giving a speech or a speech, a presentation, and it's kind of little tiny clips of that, so that if you are trying to get into speaking presentations, whether it be maybe it's a library book reading, maybe it is your nonfiction and you want to talk about you wrote a divorce book and you want to give divorce speeches to libraries and bookstores and for colleges, then sometimes having a speaker reel allows whoever you're pitching to get a glimpse of you in action so that they feel more confident in booking you. Sermons absolutely count. Sermons count because, again, you are speaking in front of people. This is what they're looking for, not content. People are not looking for content. What they're looking for is to know, can you speak clearly? Do you have presence? Do you talk like this? And I think that Free Advice Friday is the best. Because if I talked like this for an hour, I don't think anyone would stay on the call. And that's what matters. They want to know that you're dynamic. Would you be interesting? Because when you are booking someone for a speaker presentation or even a book signing, if you have no video of them, if you've never met them in real life and you have no video of them, you don't know if they will captivate your audience or not. And especially when you are booking something for an event or a library, something like that, it's not just money on the line. You have made a promise to the people coming that you will provide them with entertainment or knowledge. And if you don't, then you kind of haven't done your job. And so the speaker reels are really helpful for that, to get an idea of what you look like when you're speaking. Are you dynamic? Do you speak well? Do you have beach brain and just, completely buzz out there? It's a bit like an actor creating a reel for a commercial. I have a lovely friend and past client who is a voiceover artist, and on her website she's got a bunch of her voiceovers, which is awesome because it doesn't sound like the same person. But so it's the same idea. You're giving them a sample. Very often when I or someone on my team is pitching me for speaking opportunities, I reference back to videos, whether it be Free Advice Fridays or different webinars I've done. Like just recently, Romance Writers of America, they have a ton of branches. So instead of referencing Free Advice Friday, when I was talking to them, I said, yeah, well, I've spoken to this chapter and this chapter and this chapter, and so you can get an idea of how it went. But not everyone has that, and especially if you're starting from scratch, you have to give people something that they can view and feel good about. And that is a speaker's reel. Now, does everyone need one? I will disagree with that. Everyone does not need one. If you have no intention of doing speaking presentations, if all you're doing is asking for library readings or maybe book signing events, I don't think that you need a speaker reel. I don't think it's going to hurt you if it's done well, but I don't think you need one. Now, if you are trying to actually give presentations, if you're trying to get onto podcasts, if you're trying to do that sort of thing, a speaker reel will help. And I think it's a smart idea. If you can, if you've got the time, if you've got the video or can make the video. I also get that question. Well, I did some speaking, but no one took a video of me. That's fine. Pull someone from your friends list and ask if they would do a Zoom interview for you. Ask if they would do it back and forth with you. Sit your neighbors all on the couches and act like it was a big event. The real part is how you speak to people, not who's watching. Are there any tricks to getting a book reviewed by Goodreads and others, and how can the review show up on my Amazon book page? So Goodreads is actually owned by Amazon. They acquired it a couple years ago. So Goodreads is owned by Amazon, but they do not sync the reviews. So there is no way to get your Goodreads reviews over to Amazon unless the kind person who gave you that review goes over to Amazon and leaves the review on Amazon as well. Many people who are avid book lovers, who especially are supporting authors, will try to put their reviews kind of all over. But not always. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So just know it's kind of hit or miss. Most places, when they're looking at your reviews, like a lot of places will look at both your Amazon and your Goodreads book reviews, which is nice. As far as getting those reviews, the same way, you've got to ask. And the more active you are on Goodreads, the more likely you are to get reviewed. Have you built up your author profile? Are you working towards actually being a part of the community there? Have you done a book giveaway for a new launch so that you can get people there? Have you asked people to follow you on Goodreads? Do you post your blog to Goodreads? If you want people to interact with you on a platform, you have to interact with them on that platform. Because if you don't, why would they? A lot of people, when they are looking to their authors, they are looking for a, not a friendship, but they're looking for interaction. They're looking to know who they're reading books from, and they want to build some type of relationship. So if you want Goodreads reviews, you've got to get on Goodreads. You've got to do giveaways. You've got to participate in discussions, do the live Q&A and that kind of thing. And I always say, when people ask, you know, when you're asking for reviews, I always say, I would love a review anywhere online. Goodreads, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Yelp, I don't care. Anywhere online you're willing to leave a review, I would love it. Because it's all available on Google, and someone's visiting every site. So maybe people are looking for their books on Goodreads and not on Amazon. It's good to have the reviews there too. So it's never going to hurt you. In a perfect world, in a perfect world, people are going to leave the reviews on every site. But we, as we know, don't live in a perfect world. So just kind of keep that in mind and ask. You don't get reviews if you don't ask. Rarely. I won't say you don't, but you rarely get reviews if you don't ask. Jane with jokes. All right, let's see. Good morning, Karen. Let's see. How effective are Amazon product ads for authors, and how do I do it? Wow, that's a loaded question, Karen. Amazon product ads can be very effective if you do them well. Here's the thing with Amazon ads. Typically, for an Amazon ad to do well for a book, you have to baby it, especially at first. It's not a, I set it up and I'm just going to walk away, because if you do that, you'll probably spend a lot more than you make. A couple of basic rules is, before you start Amazon ads, I strongly recommend that you get 10 to 15 reviews on your book. If you don't have 10 to 15 reviews on your book, save your money. Once you get 10 to 15 reviews on your book, I recommend that you start with the keyword ads, so the sponsored product keyword ads. They have automatic ads and they have manual ads. Automatic ads is where Amazon will say, oh, well, we think this book should be shown to this person. And they kind of pick and choose where your book shows up. The thing is that if you're doing an automatic ad before your book has gotten a lot of sales, Amazon doesn't know your book well enough to know who to show it to. So your ads can either be very slow or just very ineffective, because Amazon has not learned who wants and should be shown your book. So I recommend you start with manual ads, and that's where you're building your list of keywords, either just out of your head. Mystery, cozy mystery, my comp authors, the comp titles, those are all keywords. Maybe I come up with a list and I get to 57. Well, that's a good place to start, but I recommend that you have a lot more keywords than that. So there is software. There's the instant data scraper you can use, and I'm given a broad overview, but instant data scraper, KDP KDP Rocket, we actually have an entire blog on the New Shelves website that is dedicated to keywords, which, let me find that for you, and it's all about how you can find keywords. And the reason why I recommend that you do a manual ad first is because when you're finding those keywords that your book should be connected to, and it starts to be bought by people online and on Amazon, Amazon is tracking that. They are tracking who's buying the book, when they're buying it. Yes, KDP Rocket is now Publishers Rocket. They switched it over. But they are tracking who bought it, when they bought it, what else they searched, what else they bought. So when you are kind of giving your book ad these boosted sales because you're feeding them keywords, you're training the algorithms on Amazon how to advertise your book. So typically, I will run manual ads for a good 2 to 3 months to train the Amazon algorithms till we start to get a good number of sales so that Amazon can see what people are searching and then actually buying when they buy my books. And also so that Amazon can, their little algorithms can see what other people are buying when they buy my book. Because it totally matters. If all I buy is historical fiction and I buy a book, well, Amazon's gonna be like, huh, this book should belong in historical fiction, which is great if it's true. If it's not, it messes you up a little bit. But it's training the algorithms. After 2 to 3 months, if you really start to get some sales and momentum with those manual ads, try automatic ads again. Chances are that if you run automatic ads again, they will actually perform better than they did the first time because Amazon's computers have more data so they can make better decisions. Overall, many times automatic ads tend to spend less. Now, didn't used to be the case, but now they tend to spend less and get, they're slow, but they tend to spend less and get great results. Slow but steady, but only if you train the algorithms. If you go from the get-go and you just do automatic ads, I have rarely, if ever, seen great success there. So it's a babying project at first. A good place to get started for sure is Brian Cohen's ad challenge. And I do believe he has another ad challenge coming up for July that you can actually hop on. It's free. So the ad challenge, it's a 5-day ad challenge. Last time they split it up over 10 days though, but regardless, it's not, it's not like this big, huge 50-day program. It's a pretty short program. They run you through, they give you videos, and they really take you through this challenge to kind of see what you can do for your ads. It's basic training, it's free, and it's a huge Facebook group, which I highly, highly recommend. I'm trying to see if I can find the ad challenge, Amazon Ad School. I know somewhere in here I have that. If I can't find it now, I'll put it up later. Because we for sure have done that before, and people had a lot of great success here. Here we go. I found the link. So here's the Amazon Ad Challenge. I'm totally going to be honest. What I have is a link. So if you're cool with that, I don't make anything unless Brian sells you something, but it is a affiliate link that I'm throwing in here. You can also just search the Facebook group. Yes. Wendy says, be prepared for a lot of homework in the ad challenge. Yes. This is a guided tour through Amazon ads. It is not do it for you ads. It is a guided tour. It is a great resource, but you do have to put in the time. It is free. Diane's saying it starts July 12th, which is awesome. And again, I did put in the link to that so that you can get connected if you like. There's a great Facebook group. It's a lot of support. Yes, there's also a Free Advice Friday video where I go over ads, and it's one video. It's not quite as in depth as Brian's class, but if you're looking for a quick overview, it does the job there. Yeah, I think a lot of people have done great with that. And Tara's saying Dave Cheson's free Amazon ads course is great too. And that's on the Kindlepreneur website. And I agree. We love Dave Cheson over here. Look, Randy's best performing ad is still the one from Free Advice Friday. Every once in a while it works, Randy, right? I love ads. I have a little bit, when I run ads, I run them a little bit differently than, but actually I think everyone puts their own twist on it. Brian kind of has his method that works if you're willing to put in the work. It's slow and it's steady. Dave Chesson has a lot of similar things, but they're different. And then I do a lot of similar things and they're different as well. And there are things to be said for all of them. I think it depends on your goals, how long you're willing to baby those ads, how much work you're willing to be put in, and how quickly you want results. I tend to throw more at it in the beginning, get things moving quickly, and then go into maintenance mode, whereas Brian really builds up slowly, and they both work. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I have ads that are they perform very well, and I have authors who make a lot of money off of them. Excuse me. Goodness. But Brian does too. I mean, Brian has thousands of people who use his ad program with great success. So it all depends, again, as always, on your goals, what you're willing to put into it, and you know, to see what works for you. All right. Oh, I am so excited that you asked this. Karen just asked, how can you use artificial intelligence to produce more books and work with potential authors? And I'm excited you asked that because we actually have an artificial intelligence article going up on the New Shelves blog very soon. When did I schedule that for? We did a lot of research. I work with a wonderful woman named Catherine, and she took a lot of time to research artificial intelligence and what's going on with writers and writing and how you can do that. And the stuff she pulled up, guys, was crazy, absolutely crazy. So that's going up on the 15th of July, so keep an eye out for that for a really in-depth look. But artificial intelligence is making waves. There are books written completely by artificial intelligence. You can do, Jane saying, AI did an edit analysis of the latest novel and it was a little amazing. Here's the thing with AI. Let's go a little sci-fi. The thing with AI is that it is a great tool, but you do have to monitor it because AI can only go so far. For example, AI, when you use Grammarly, the tool Grammarly, that's AI. When you use predictive text on your phone, that's AI. But have you ever played those games on your phone where it's like, type in, my name is A, and finish it, and it comes up with crazy stuff? That is the problem with AI, is that AI is an amazing tool. It can sometimes absolutely, AI sometimes can be amazing. It can pull up a lot of great things and it can do a lot. It can do some edit analysis and things like that, but you have to have eyes on it to determine whether or not it's making good decisions. It's like a child. And sometimes it doesn't. And also when you're strictly writing with AI doesn't create. AI pulls from other places. So technically, when you're writing with AI, what it's doing is it's pulling information from other sources and cobbling it together. It's probably a little bit like all of our high school research papers where we read like 50 articles and then just put them all together. Just me. But so I think that AI is definitely cool. There's a lot going on. There are even some programs that are in beta testing right now where you can actually buy like a monthly subscription for like, it's supposed to come out for like 20-25 bucks a month, where you can buy a subscription and you start the story and then AI will give you options on how to finish it, which is crazy. Yes, only only a mom would call AI a good child, except for I didn't call it good. I think it's kind of naughty sometimes. AI is that cool child that gets into too much trouble. I think that it's a cool thing, but you can't rely solely on it. And there are a lot of AI tools that you can utilize And it does. The more, just like I was saying, you have to train your Amazon algorithms. That's because it's AI. And Tara's saying the more that you use it, the more it learns. And that is true. So in the beginning, it's kind of junk because it has to be trained what you want it to do. So keep that in mind. It's an upward process and there are great tools, but it doesn't mean that you set it and forget it. It's something that you really have to work with it. See, when I don't have time to read, I let the AI read the book for me. I do that. You can actually take a Word document and you can make it read to you. And I do that all the time because okay, it's a running joke, but I have two laptops, one computer, and then I will often be listening to reports while I'm doing it. I like to be very efficient. And so AI is awesome. There are a lot of tools, but it's got limitations. Let's see. Those are good questions though. And keep an eye out for that article. Again, it's July 15th, but on the blog, we typically post out blogs on Mondays and Thursdays. We just had a really good I wrote it, so it was really good. We had a great article come out yesterday that was all about tying your book into holidays, specifically obscure or book holidays. And that went up on the blog yesterday. And Anna, my right-hand lady, and I worked on a calendar that was filled with not only national holidays, some for the US as well as Canada, but also we pulled a bunch of book holidays and put it on this calendar, which we turned into a free PDF. You can go grab it from the website. And that's been pretty popular. I think we had like 100 people download it yesterday. So if you are interested, let me post that in there. But we do try to keep our blog pretty up to date. We're supposed to have a blog coming up from a guest poster about film, turning your book into film is coming up. We also have someone talking about what's hot in subsidiary rights if you're trying to sell your book into other countries and languages, or film rights, all that kind of stuff. So we have here at New Shelves, our team writes a lot of blogs, but we also have people come in and guest write for us because teamwork makes the dream work. And we have some awesome contacts and friends who are willing to share their expertise with us. But anyway, I just dropped in the New Shelves blog. I just dropped the New Shelves blog for holidays into the chat. And it is a good way for social media, especially when people go, you want me to post to my social media at least 2 to 3 times a week? And I'm like, well, I'd prefer at least once a day, but 2 to 3 times a week is good. And they go, I don't know what to talk about. Well, find those weird calendars. Find the things where it's like bring your dog to work day, because who doesn't want to see your dog with a book? Everyone. Or your dog while you're writing. I want to see your dog pictures. I love them. And so I think it's a fun way to kind of connect in. Yes. Sharon is saying, take it from a social media manager. 2 to 3 times per week is the minimum. That's certainly true, especially depending on what platform you're on. A tweet lasts like 4 seconds to 4 minutes, I think it is. And that's if it actually is being like retweeted and things like that. So you got to keep on it. Let me see. For Amazon sponsored ads, instead of listing dozens of keywords, wouldn't fewer, more to the point keywords result in a better conversion rate and therefore lower cost? John, that's a great question. And this is one of those things that Brian Cohen and I have a little bit of differing opinions on. When you do fewer keywords that are very pointed, it can be great because you are more likely to hit your direct audience, spend less, and your conversion may be higher. However, when you go broad at first, when you go and you find more keywords, you're giving your book more opportunity, because sometimes you don't even know what keywords will work for your book. I have had people that were flabbergasted when I gave them a list of keywords and they're like, these are not my keywords. They have nothing to do with my book, and they're not my keywords, and I'm not going to spend money on them. And I have to convince them, because that's what I do. And I'm like, just try it. My favorite is working with children's books, picture books in particular. One of my favorite keywords is Spider-Man sneakers. Why? It has nothing, and people are like, well, my book's not a superhero, I don't have Spider-Man, and what do sneakers have to do with my book? Well, what Spider-Man sneakers have to do with the book is that, number one, people are looking for them because every kid needs shoes. Number two, Spider-Man sneakers are special. They're not just your average everyday sneakers. They are special sneakers, which means they are often bought for holidays, for gift-giving occasions, or by grandparents. Guess who buys books? People looking for holidays, gift-giving occasions, and grandparents. So it is sometimes those keywords that you wouldn't think about that can work really well. That's why I start big and I narrow down based on it. But sometimes those weird keywords or the bigger keywords that you start with will actually lead you to better keywords in the long term with more action. Because if you only have 10 keywords, you're not going to get much response. I mean, 10 keywords is not a lot to search from. So again, it totally depends on your goals, how much you want to baby it, and do you have the money to start a little bit big and narrow down. So there are different schools of thought. I don't think either is wrong. I think it depends on your goal and again, how long you're willing to spend on it and how much babying you're willing to do. Yes, Caroline, we can talk about that. I do sometimes help authors with ads. Completely depends. Sometimes it's simply looking at what you're doing and giving you direction. I've had a lot of people go, I'm horrible at ads. I'm horrible and I don't do them well and I want you to do them for me. And I'm like, all right, well, let's look at your ad dashboard together. I'm like, no, you're killing it. Let's just change this setting, this setting, and this setting. And now you're doing awesome. So it totally depends. But I know that we have a call coming up, so we can look at that. All right, this is a longer question, so give me a minute to read it. Yes. All right, I was recently helping create a video for Lori's new book, Breath is Life trailer, but what was missing was the ask. At the end of the trailer, what's the ask to go to the website? We are hoping for a fall book launch, so we are not able to sell yet. What do you suggest for the dynamic, fun ask when creating a book trailer when the book is not quite ready for launch? Just sending people to the website and sign up? No. Here's the thing. If you are doing a book trailer, any marketing, let's just put it there. Any marketing should have an ask at the end. And the ask is what you want people to do. If you're doing a book trailer and your book is live, you are saying, go buy it now. If you are doing a social media post, you're either asking a question because you want interaction, or you're asking people to go to your website to leave a review, whatever it may be. Typically, I mean, I will say for social media, sometimes there's just fun engagement posts, but when you are spending time and money in marketing, you need to have an ask, or else people are going to go, oh, that was a cute video. On with my day. You don't get anything from it. So when you have that ask, I would say if you have a book and it's not up yet, direct people to your website, but don't just say go to my website. Don't just say go to sign up. Give them something free to download. I don't care if it's a 5-minute sound wave or a PDF, or if it is a breathing exercise. Say, for your free breathing exercise training, visit www.breathislife.com now. Give people something free to go get. If you don't have and that is your ask. You're asking them to go download it, but you're also giving them an offer which is motivating. And what's great about that is even after your book launch, you can still use that. You can use that forever. Even if the book is out, you can still use it saying, go get your free download. And that's going to build your mailing list. And when you build your mailing list, you have a bigger audience to announce your book when the time comes, which is a great idea, because we all know that when you actually have emails of people that you can email and ask them to buy your book, you have more chance of selling your book. So that's what I would do. If your book's not out yet and you need an ask, get a freebie up pronto. And you can create a freebie so easily. It does not have to be complicated. I have a lot of authors who have like food or recipes in their book where they talk about like, oh, there was parties and they made this extravagant, there's one that made like a caviar wreath, something cool like that. And so I was like, all right, you talk about 3 recipes in the book, make me recipes and make me a PDF download. People will go after that. So I think that there's different things like that, but find a freebie that people want. And for the love of goodness, please don't give away the first chapter of your book. That's a bit overdone, and people don't want a chapter. They want to read the whole thing. So give them something that feels complete. Even if it's a chapter that's turned into a really mini book, make it feel complete when you're offering it to them. Yeah, you can also add the book to Goodreads as a teaser and have them add it to their bookshelf and release day, and Goodreads will notify them. That's a good one as well. Yeah, just having, I love this. Sharon's all full of information and stats today. Having a subscribe here pop-up on your website will increase your mailing list by 30%. And I believe that. We have that on New Shelves. Not only do we have freebies in our shop for download that you put in your email to get. We have our mailing list that comes up, and then we have our people we like list that you have to give your email to get into. Giving people reasons to want to interact with you and just giving them the opportunity can be great. So that's what I would recommend. Again, it's all in the ask. So often we think, well, if people want to be on my mailing list, they'll go sign up. But no, they won't. You have to ask. You have to put it out there. You have to put the request in, because sometimes people just don't think about it. Yes, delay the pop-up. I can't agree with this more, Tara. Tara's saying delay the pop-up. It's so frustrating if you haven't been able to even read anything yet to be presented with an ask. And I agree. Usually you can do a delayed pop-up. I think some of it's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute. There are different options on there, and I agree. You've always got to wait a minute before that pop-up comes up. That's one of my pet peeves. All right. What is your experience with ghostwriters, and how do you pick a good one? I work with several ghostwriters. Not so much, I've never had a ghostwriter write something for me personally, but I work with several people who ghostwrite and who do it very, very well. And my opinion on ghostwriters is that to pick a good one, you have to find someone who writes your genre. A ghostwriter can be a magnificent resource, absolutely. However, if you are trying to put out a very technical book and your ghostwriter specializes in romance, it's probably not going to turn out how you want. You're probably going to be frustrated. So when you're looking for a ghostwriter, I would be looking to see what other things they've written, what genre they like, what they tend to write in, and also make sure that you actually talk to them. You're going to have to work closely with this person as a ghostwriter. So not only looking at their past work, but making sure that your genre is kind of mesh and that you two get along. It's a close relationship, and if you don't hit it off with your ghostwriter, it could be a very very unhappy experience for you. And ghostwriting can take a long time depending on the book. I mean, I've seen ghostwriting take 3 months, and I've seen it take 9 months. So I think that also matters. And so when you're looking at a ghostwriter, those are the things I'd look and ask what they've written. Go get that book. Yes, go buy it on Amazon. Go buy it on Amazon for $9.99, whatever it is on Kindle. Go get that book and read it and see if you like it. See if you find errors. See what the actual product is. Research is the best way when you are working with a ghostwriter, an editor, a cover designer, a marketing professional. Research and talk to them and make sure it's a good fit, because I've had certain people want to originally maybe work with New Shelves, and there are just times where I'm like, this is not a good fit. Like I cannot be a good fit for you. And it's a disservice to everyone to go forward with that. Sometimes it's just personalities or needs. Sometimes it's time differences. Like I had someone who was in a different time zone and they constantly wanted to have meetings at 9 p.m. Well, I've got kids and p.m. I'm doing bedtime at 9 p.m. It just simply didn't work. So research first. I always like to say the best plan of attack starts with great strategy. So get your strategy and get your research in first. Nope, it was bigger, so I waited, Wendy. Would it be worth my time and effort to revisit Amazon ads since they have censored some of my ads for making outlandish claims? Actually, I haven't. They don't like permanent weight loss success in the title. Derek Doker agrees that they're cracking down in the weight loss area, and those are reasonable claims. Here is the thing with Amazon ads. In all things Amazon, we must remember it's Amazon's playground, and sometimes they make the rules, even if we're going, that makes no sense, which is like most of the time with Amazon, right? We're like looking at it going, well, that doesn't really make sense, and that's okay. Amazon's playground, they get to choose. So with Amazon ads, they have really started to crack down on titles that they will or will not promote, literally based on the title. You talk about permanent weight loss, they can get that. They'll say, well, no, you can't actually promise someone will have permanent weight loss. So then they'll say, we can't advertise that. I have a client, this is actually pretty funny. I have a client who has a book, which is free right now. I'll throw him a bone. Road to the Breaking is a Civil War family saga, and it is free right now on Kindle. This book gets in, the first book in the series. The second book in the series has a gun on the cover. Mind you, this is Civil War historical fiction. There is a gun on the cover. And so Amazon will not advertise that book because it promotes violence with a cover that has a gun on it. If you have anything that they deem too racy, and it's crazy to me, sometimes I see ads for books and I'm like, well, that's pretty much as racy as you can get. And then I've seen books come back because a woman has a like shirt draped off her shoulder. Or like they're like, well, she looks like she's sitting on a bed. So there are some automatic steps that are happening where it's getting flagged, and sometimes it's people looking at it. It depends on the person looking at it, whether or not it goes through. If you have anyone smoking on a cover, that can get you kicked. You cannot make personal promises about finances, anything that has to do with housing. There are a lot of rules now, and sometimes they just won't do it. And I have appealed and different things like that, and they won't. Now, if you can make a compelling argument for something such as, well, she's not sitting on a bed, she's sitting on a couch. They're like, oh, that's totally safe then. No, you know, it's not too sexy anymore. But if it's straight up in your title, they may just not do it. You can try again. I think there's no harm in trying, but they may just not do it, in which case you have to kind of look at different things. I also have an author who decided to put in his title, it was a curse word with an asterisk out. You know, those books were fairly popular for a while, and so it was curse word, but it was, you know, creatively done, so it didn't totally say that. They will not do it. I also have another author who had the B word. I feel like I'm on 6th grade. The B word that had something asterisked out, and it was actually speaking very positively about women, but it was asterisked out, and they would not do that. So anything that has any type of cursing, anything like that, and what they're doing is they're trying to not get in trouble. Basically, they're trying to be PC, and sometimes good books get caught up in the mix. Yes, and sometimes these ads have been running for a long time, and then you get notices that they are being flagged. When they say they're being flagged, that does not necessarily mean that someone on Amazon flagged them, although that sometimes does happen. If you have an ad that makes a promise, sometimes someone browsing around on Amazon will flag it as making false promises. I have even heard, Lord Jesus help us, I have even heard of authors going to their competitors' ads and flagging them. Let's never do that. Like, let's all just lift each other up all the time instead of doing anything like that, because it's asinine. But sometimes it is Amazon's flag. Sometimes it's their bots are flagging things, or, you know, the people that work on Amazon are flagging it. And again, it's Amazon's playground. You can only do what you can do. So I say you try. And if you can't, try something else. I will say that they now have other options. Some of your accounts will have beta access to video ads. Can you do a video ad with something that does not so much promote those things, that has other imaging on it other than your book cover? I've been successful with that. Get creative, and sometimes it means you have to go somewhere else like Facebook. Or the thing with Amazon that makes it so hard is Amazon uses your book cover in the marketing. When you go to somewhere like Facebook, even if they will not, Facebook, by the way, those asterisks and the curse words, they won't do that either. No go. But you can use other imaging in your ad and lead to the product. So you have to get creative, and sometimes I have had authors who changed their title or changed their cover based on this because it was such a problem to get the word out. Sharon, I couldn't agree more. It's such childish behavior to do that. As I said, I think as authors and as a writing community, we should lift each other up. Now, readers read. Readers don't read one book. It's not, readers read, and they read a lot of books. There's plenty of love to go around. Yes, and I understand, Ray. The promise is how to do something, but it's the reader's information. But then you have the person who says, well, I can't do that because I'm diabetic, or I can't do that because, again, it's a bunny trail of things like that. And I do think that sometimes you make reasonable claims and it still gets flagged. It is what it is. It's Amazon's playground. I think you should still try a couple times. I do think if you refute it, sometimes you can go to Amazon and refute it. I have got that removed. I have a client who on her book cover is a scalpel, and the scalpel's dripping one little drip of blood, and that was flagged for violence and they were trying not to run ads, and we pushed back on that. We're like, absolutely not. Like, here's this book and this book and this book. It is a little drip of blood, and we got that pushed through. So sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And sometimes, as I said, when you put in a claim or when you're asking for review, it's going to a physical person. That physical person is using their objective opinion to decide whether or not your ad is appropriate or not. So sometimes doing it a second time get you to someone else who feels completely differently about it. I think it's worth trying a couple times, but if not, it's time to either start creatively marketing elsewhere or considering, is this something that will keep you from your book long-term, from success? And does that mean that you need to revisit that title? Or more often than not, it's actually not titles, it is the subtitle that will get you. Can you remove the subtitle? It's that kind of thing. It's a small change. You don't have to republish your book. You just have to do, fix up your cover a little bit. And sometimes that's what it takes to get your book to market. Unfortunately, I think it's crazy. Some of the things that pop up, I think it's crazy. Is what it is, right? All right, you guys, I think we got through all of our questions today, I think. So if you have any further questions, we're going to wrap it up for today and start the holiday weekend off. I'm very excited because here in my town, we do fireworks every year on July 3rd, and my husband jokingly says that he gets some special for my birthday because my birthday's tomorrow. So we do fireworks, and we have my birthday, the 4th of July, and it is my favorite. I hope everyone has a great holiday weekend. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Look, the mom and me is coming out. Be safe. Have fun. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. If you have more questions, email them in. We'll catch them next week. It's just questions@freeadvicefriday.com. And thank you, everybody. It will be a great day, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.